Oh, yeah, already.
Oh, wow. Straight away, what's up, guys?
All right, how's it going, guys? Jose Mourinho is in. Pochettino has bit the dust, unfortunately.
It's been a crazy. We're just trying to collect our thoughts after a crazy 24 hours for Tottenham Hotspur. Last night, no one really expected the shock news of last night, Pochettino going, and then waking up this morning to all the news of Jose Mourinho being appointed and all his backroom stuff. He's taken his first training session. He's given his first interviews. We've all seen that. So there's a lot of stuff going around in my head how to feel about all this, because all of a sudden I've woken up this morning and come this afternoon I'm literally looking at Jose Mourinho taking training sessions. I'm like, what has happened in this past 24 hours?
But let's take it back for a minute. Let's talk about Pochettino. First of all, when that news broke,
yeah,
what did you feel? What were the emotions running through you?
You could see the video yesterday. We were just, me personally, I was completely heartbroken.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a disappointment. Obviously, that he didn't win anything, and all the hard work he put in developing the players. He spent all that time, only for it to all go sour in the end. But it was also the fact that he didn't get a chance to integrate really his new signings. The first window, pretty much, he was backed properly. And he didn't get a proper chance to integrate the new signings into the team, and he didn't leave on his own terms as well. He kind of got sacked, and it would have been so much better if he would have just resigned in the summer, and this could all have been sorted then. But the fact that he got dragged out all this time, it just leaves a bit of taste in our mouth how it's all ended. It's such a shame. I can see both sides of the argument.
Of course, you can't get away from the fact that we've been shocking for 18 months now, pretty much, which was masked by a Champions League run.
But you know what? I see these old videos of Poch, and I'm like, I don't want to just win. I want to win with Poch.
Yeah,
I want to win with him. I want you, Poch.
But at the end of the day, no one is bigger than the football club.
It's true.
Pochettino, he played an amazing role in our history. He's going to hold such a special place in all our hearts. But you can't get away from the fact that any other top club would have sacked him a long time ago.
Yeah, I know, but not any other top club would also not be giving him the circumstances he's been under. Correct. As well.
Yeah,
there's always a caveat with it. I just feel so bad for him.
But what leaves a bitter taste in my mouth more is the way that he's been treated by Levy and the way that the players threw him under the bus at the end. That really leaves a bitter taste in my mouth.
And you kind of, I don't know about you, but I get from this feeling, especially looking at the players in the training session, and also given how they've spoken about the situation post Pochettino being sacked, they don't seem that. And they're all very appreciative of his work, but they don't seem shocked. They don't seem like it doesn't seem to me like they're that surprised or that they're outraged in any way, or that they're not happy with the decision. All right, shout out to him.
Carry on.
I'm saying that I don't get the feeling from them that they're disappointed that he's gone.
Did you see the Toby interview on Sky Sports last night?
I did.
He did not give two shits.
He had that little smirk on his face. He kind of looked happy about it.
And not only did he say that, but the comment that he made, which really bugged me, he was like, Tottenham are a big club now, and they need to appoint a big manager. Now that is saying, if that's not a shot at Poch, I don't know what is.
Yeah. But I can't. Yeah, it's true. But the fact of the matter, look, Poch has been absolutely fantastic. The fact of the matter is, this was his first proper big job in the Premier League, a massive club.
Yeah.
And he's never been at a club for as long as he was at Spurs, and he's never been fighting at the top level like he was. And he's shown he can do it, but he just hasn't been able to take that final step. I'm sure once he gets to a club who will back him properly, I'm sure he'll be able to do that. It's just at Spurs, he wasn't able to. Hopefully, Jose will be that man.
Well, let's just close off on Poch and just give him a massive thank you for everything he's done for the football club. From the minute he stepped into Tottenham Hotspur till the minute he left, he held himself with such high esteem throughout the whole club. Everyone to do with Tottenham absolutely loves and adores him, and he'll always be welcome back.
Yeah, and it's always the way he's conducted himself, as
Yeah.
I've always said about Pochettino. Always, usually, except for maybe the last 6 months, he's always said the right things. Always gets the feeling of the club. He felt the history. He knows how the fans feel. He knows he got Tottenham fans, and he got Tottenham, and it's so rare. I think it's a rare thing in this day and age for a manager to be so ingrained in the club and to get such a connection with the fan base. Most managers know they're on borrowed time and they kind of don't plan for the long term like he was. And it's such a shame they ended so just so bitter. It's such a bitter ending. But I echo your thoughts. Absolutely, thank him massively.
Shall we quickly, before we move on from Poch, talk about kind of some of our favourite Poch moments?
Well, obviously
starting from the beginning, because the first game, West Ham.
Yeah, the West Ham game, winning 1-0, Eric Dyer. I think the 5-3 New Year's Day against Chelsea.
That Man City game
was.
That season, let's talk about that season. Last season at White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
That's the season which really put Pochettino up there into the upper echelons of kind of football managers, and probably why he's so sought after.
Everyone was doubting whether Tottenham were going to be a one-season wonder after that season. We'd kind of pushed Leicester away. And I think he proved on that season that he's not a flash in the pan. He can produce consistent displays from his players, and he can even improve on the displays that he was getting. Even though he was kind of draining every last little bit of energy out of them, he can still improve on performances. And the most important thing is staying unbeaten that whole season at White Hart Lane. And as he said, the Tottenham players defended it like warriors, like it was their home, and that's exactly what we need to that feeling we need to get back at White Hart Lane. And he got it. He knew it, and you could see that look on the last game as well around the stadium, how much it meant to him being a part of it.
So you're talking about West Ham away, his first game, that Chelsea game where they eventually ended up being champions.
Yeah.
You're talking about the last ever game at White Hart Lane. You're talking about the last North London derby at White Hart Lane.
Finishing above Arsenal 3 years in a row.
Finishing above Arsenal, top 4, Champions League, beating the European champions Real Madrid at home, going to the Bernabeu and getting a result, going through in the Champions League against Barcelona.
We were unbeaten away at the Bernabeu, away at Juventus, and away at Barcelona. Three games unbeaten.
Dortmund.
Yeah,
smashing out Dortmund.
Beating Man City in our first Champions League game in the new stadium. And what an amazing moment that was. The atmosphere that night, it was something incredible.
Yeah.
Bringing us into the new stadium for winning that first game as well.
Exactly. The Man City and Ajax away games.
Just countless moments. Winning our first game at Stamford Bridge for 28 years.
Yeah.
There are so many countless moments that you can point to Pochettino.
He never won at the Emirates though, did he?
He did in the League Cup.
He did in the
League Cup.
Yeah.
He did win in the Emirates. We were actually unbeaten against Arsenal for his first few years.
Yeah, it took Unai Emery to come in and beat him, actually.
I think Wenger won once.
Well, his last year.
So, please let us know in the comments below what your favourite Pochettino moment. I can recount so many of them, and it's going to be so many fond memories of him.
Like, we've talked about the good stuff about Pochettino. In terms of the bad stuff about Pochettino, it was the big games, really, which he kind of got undone. Weird decisions sometimes in big games. What do you make out of that?
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes he didn't really learn from his mistakes.
You kind of gave him a pass in that Leicester season when we had big games and, against West Brom, chasing down the title, against Chelsea and whatnot, against West Ham away.
The Battle of the Bridge.
Yeah, those games, you thought, okay, you put that down to inexperience, you put it down to the team not really being ready for a title challenge, but just overachieving in how they're playing. And it was kind of like, okay, it doesn't mean that he's not good enough. It just means he has to develop. But then the next season, we had the FA Cup semi-final against Chelsea again. Didn't get over the line. Again, another disappointed playing Son at left back. Didn't work at all. Another big game. Going out of the Champions League group stage that season as well. And going out again was another more question marks against Pochettino. But then he answered the next season. We went through in the Champions League. We battered the group stage. But then again, got the draw away at Juventus.
A lot of people were saying after that game he got out-tacticked by Allegri that game.
And then a home game again, winning 1-0, playing well, couldn't get over the line. Again, big moments go against us and then we don't know how to react. Semi-final against Man United. Again, 1-0 up, things are going great. Sanchez scores a header out of nothing, and we didn't know how to react.
That Juventus tie and that Man United semi-final should have been our games. They should have been our
Both
games.
of them. Both of
No
them should have
question
been our
about
games.
it. You can't say much about that Chelsea semi-final, but the Man U one and the Juventus tie, we should have gone
Even
through.
the Chelsea one, we should have won that.
Well,
we should know we were the better team. We should
we
have won
were
that.
the better team. We conceded 4 goals though.
We did concede 4 goals, pretty much from 4 shots on target.
Yeah.
We conceded 4 goals from 4 shots on target.
Took
we were the
that
better team.
Matic wonder strike.
Yeah, we were the better team that day. We probably should have had that one as well. He will probably harbour so much regret from those massive games and what he could have done. I always think Pochettino, everyone's always said it, and it's been, I think, 100% right. His in-game management needs a lot of work. He doesn't make changes early enough. He doesn't see things early enough. He kind of waits for things to play out before he's too reactive instead of being proactive in his substitutions.
Yeah.
And for a manager who prides himself on the tactics of being proactive, pressing, being on the front foot, I feel like himself as a manager needs to take a leaf out of his own book kind of thing. And whereas Mourinho is kind of the opposite, whereas his teams like to wait for teams and sit back and maybe counter and be more pragmatic. However, from a tactical point of view and in-game management, he's a lot more proactive than Pochettino. He once made a double substitution after half an hour, I remember, for Chelsea. So he's not shy of changing things if he doesn't see it's working.
Well, that kind of closes the chapter on Pochettino at Spurs.
His reign, a fantastic reign.
As much as I'm going to miss Pochettino, there's no point dwelling on the past.
Yeah.
We need to move forward now. We have got a new manager in Jose Mourinho, the special one. What were you feeling like when the news broke that it was evident that we were gonna get him?
Well, I said again yesterday in our video, you asked me who do you want to replace Pochettino, and I said Mourinho.
Yeah.
I said I want Jose Mourinho. It's before he was announced. I think the odds were pretty short, but it was before the talk was that big of Jose. And I wanted him just because he has that pedigree behind him. He has that know-how. He has exactly what this team needs to make that final step. I really think he could be reinvigorated by that. And to be honest, when it was announced that he was a serious contender and he's serious and he was going to get the job, I couldn't feel anything but excitement. That kid in me, from a young age, who's always seen Mourinho as like that best coach ever, I can't get away from how excited that makes me.
I think Todd Martin wants the lineup.
Lineup of what?
I don't know. He wants a lineup.
He wants a lineup. We'll give you a lineup. Don't worry for the next game. He's always been that manager. Like the thought of Mourinho being Tottenham manager when I was younger, when I was 12, 13, 14, was something I could only dreamt of.
But you say that, yeah, and you're right. But the thought of him being Tottenham manager after his second stint at Chelsea is a completely different story.
I would say after the second stint at Chelsea, I think it was still a case where you would have taken him. But I thought maybe after the United, I'm like, okay, maybe he's starting to wane.
But even though we say that, but I think he actually did a good job at United.
Well, in hindsight, he did.
Yeah.
In hindsight, you have to say there's no argument. You have to say the getting second place to the squad he did and winning
Europa League and League Cup.
Two cups in a season. You got to say he did do well. And I think United fans will probably be looking back now and thinking they're probably better off keeping him. Because Ollie, I know he was, again, an initial bounce, but it hasn't really worked out for Ollie, has it?
No, you're right.
And I think every club he's been at, he's won trophies. I know he's also gone sour, but he's won trophies everywhere, and that's what we need. And as I've said before, even if it does go sour, which it inevitably will do with Jose, no doubt about it, I think if we can get through this period with something to show for it,
yes,
in the cabinet.
Live, Kay, it's live.
Yeah, 100%. And it's live. If we can get through this period with something to show for it, then I think we could give whoever is in the next progressive manager, like who on Nagelsmann or Ten Hag, someone like that, if they have a better platform to build from. If we have a trophy behind us, and someone under Mourinho, if we can win that. So that's why I'm excited. And we know he knows how to win trophies.
He knows how to win something. And the main thing about it, he has a point to prove, doesn't he? He's got a big point to prove, Jose, you know. A lot of people were talking about him after that Man U job. A lot of people talking about him after that Chelsea job. And he's got a big point to prove. And he's got big shoes to fill, and Pochettino as well. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out.
There's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, in the papers about how Pochettino, Levy was blown away apparently by his new philosophies he's developed in the year he's been out. Apparently he's had a long think about how he manages players, about how he treats players, and he's supposed to have changed a lot, and he's gonna change a few of his philosophies. So let's see how it pans out, because we know this is one of the great minds of football that's been ever since he's come into management. And we know when he puts his mind to something, it usually finishes in trophies. So I think it's something to be excited about at the end of the day. I know Pochettino's left and we're all gutted, no doubt about it. But as you said, he can't dwell on the past. And I think Jose Mourinho, he wouldn't have come without the confidence in himself that he could do an amazing job at Spurs and we can actually challenge to win things. So I can't wait to see what happens.
Question from Ronnie Cohen.
Ronnie Cohen.
Yeah.
Ronnie.
He's a Man United fan, and he said Jose didn't change for Man United. Why will he change for Tottenham?
Because I think the Man United job was so big, he was expected to instantly challenge for the title. And I think once there was a clash of personalities there, it was so hard to get them back on side. And as we know, they spent a lot of money at Man United, and a lot of the signings kind of didn't work out. He wanted to kind of spend more money, and they wouldn't give it to him because he spent a lot of money. Look, there's no
since Fergie left, who was the most successful Man United manager?
Mourinho.
Exactly. So I don't know what all the Man United fans are complaining about. You know,
Was Moyes the problem? Was Van Gaal the problem? Now you're saying was Solskjaer the problem? At the end of the day, I think Man United are in a bit kind of a mess at the moment in terms of how they structure their footballing side of things. And I think the problem was a lot larger than Mourinho. Not that he was blameless, because he did a lot of things wrong, but I think I think that there are larger problems at Man United than Jose Mourinho was, and I think they're saying that now. And, everyone was talking about his man management. He couldn't get Pogba playing. But, Pogba was playing fine after he left. And then what's he doing now? He's again downing tools. So I think there's more of an issue with the personnel than is specifically with Mourinho. However, at every club, it does seem to happen with him. He does seem to fall out with people, and he does seem to fall out with top players. He says he's going to adjust his ways. Let's hold out. I'm hoping that this year out, he's taken this year out, really had taken a hard look about how he sees himself managing and how he sees why it keeps going wrong, and how if we can rectify that. And hopefully he's changed up a bit. I think his appointments has shown a bit of a change as well, which we haven't touched on yet. Is it a backroom staff appointments?
What really interests me about this Mourinho thing is the guy he's brought in as assistant manager and the guy that he's trying to bring in as director of football. That to me says that Mourinho has changed. It does, because you don't bring in a forward-thinking, progressive, very young assistant manager if you're not looking to change your style. If he was set in his ways, he would bring in the same backroom staff that he's always had.
And he's changed up completely.
He's completely changed up, and it's completely different to what he's ever had. So that for me stinks of a guy who's changed and who wants to change for the better. Who wants to evolve with the game. Because a lot of people, what we're saying about Mourinho is that he doesn't evolve with the game.
He's a dinosaur.
He's a dinosaur, doesn't evolve with the game. But that tells me he does, and he has.
Well, look, it shows at least he's trying to.
Yeah.
At least that you can't ask for much more than that. And I think if he's recognised a fault in himself, you can't blame him for trying to rectify that. And we have to wait and see if it works out for him. But I'm just excited that I think with Spurs, obviously it's been so stale for a couple of years. It's just nice to have some fresh kind of approach and see how it goes. And I think his job at United shouldn't bowl too much on this.
I never thought I'd be this excited about sacking Pochettino and hiring Mourinho.
I know, but
it's just so weird to me.
There's something about Mourinho. He has that aura about him.
A special one.
He is, and he has that aura that that he can always pull off big results and big performances, and he always can get his team playing when he puts his mind to it. So it's something to be excited about.
All right, everyone wants a lineup. So, question from Twitter from Tom Woodley Marshall: what do you think our starting 11 and setup will look like under Jose?
Well, he likes 4-3-3 usually. That's what his formation was at Chelsea.
For me, that three in the midfield, Ndombele, Lo Celso, and Sissoko. It reminds me. I'm not saying it's as good yet, but it reminds me a lot of that Chelsea he had in the middle with Makelele, Lampard, and who was the other one? Essien.
Well,
Obviously it's big shoes to fill, but you've got Sissoko, who's the batterer there in the middle. Tongi, who can do both. He can do the defensive. Dylan, shut up. He can do the defensive side, and he can spray a pass. Pinpoint passing, and then you've got Lo Celso, who can score.
Yeah,
like Lampard can. So it's a similar style, is what I'm saying.
And then you got like Kane in the Drogba role, and you got Son in the Robben role.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I think the main point I think that that Mourinho has apparently identified is that Dylan, it's my dog, he's being an idiot. The main point that he has identified is that we need to restructure our defence. 1 second. So the defence is the big part that he wants to change up a lot. So that's a big question mark, because there's a lot of people saying we need to phase out Vertonghen, we need to phase out Toby, all these players. Is he going to get them playing? Is he going to get?
If anyone can, it's going to be him.
And I feel like the reason why I feel like he might be able to get more of a performance out of them is because he's not going to require people like Toby and Vertonghen all the time to play such a high line, to be pressing high, to kind of use their physical abilities, because they're much better technical defenders than they are physical defenders, and they're much better than
450 people watching.
Keep going, guys. Nice job. They're two defenders who are much better at positional wise and getting a tackle in than they are out muscling a defender or winning a header. So
Dylan's better than Serge. You're not wrong.
To get Dylan a right back, honestly,
he's got stamina.
He's got a good high press. So it'll be interesting to see who he goes in defence. We know actually what's very interesting is he actually isn't a fan of Sanchez.
Really?
Because at the end of the Europa League final when they played Ajax, he was on in an interview. He said that they when Sanchez had the ball, they let him have the ball because they knew that he wasn't very good on the ball. And he said that in an interview. So when he was managing Man United, so that would indicate that he sees a flaw in Sanchez. He's not actually his biggest fan. Luckily, he does have two great centre-backs who he can work with if he's not a fan of Sanchez, and maybe Foyth as well. But that would be a worrying sign if I was Davinson.
It's just come to my mind. I can't remember who the player was. Jose was managing Man United at the time. They were playing someone in Europe. And after the game, he kind of hugged him and he was like, day... It was Justin Kluivert, wasn't it? Do you reckon he could be a potential for Spurs then?
Well, he hasn't done much at Roma, has he? He hasn't pulled up any trees, but maybe one day. It'll be interesting to see what he does with the fullback situation. I think in January he's going to have to try and get someone in, but apparently, according to Levy has let Mourinho know he has no money to spend in January. Apparently, that's what the Telegraph is saying.
It's a great start, isn't it?
Fantastic. I mean, I've heard conflicting reports. Some reports say he does have money to spend. Some reports say he doesn't. But anyway, I think to start off with, I think he's going to go 4-3-3. I think he's going to go with the back four that he has to go with. Whether he goes with Davis,
Toby.
I think for some reason he'll go with Davis, but just because he's a better defender than Rose, and I think he values that more. I think he'll go with Rose or Aurier.
Didn't he try sign Rose once for Man United anyway?
He did, but Rose has regressed, I think, from that time.
But you never know. He could just be, a new manager could revitalise him. It could revitalise Toby. It could revitalise Jan, Eriksen. It could be revitalise all of them.
You're right. He's saying Foyth, Toby, Jan, Davis as a back four.
If Rose can up his game, then I'd put Rose in there.
What's interesting, I found actually, is that in most Mourinho sides, the attacking midfielder has usually always played a pivotal role. You got Lampard at Chelsea, you got Schneider at Inter Milan. At Real Madrid, Ozil was at his absolute best when Mourinho was in charge. At Chelsea in his second spell, Cesc Fabregas was instrumental when winning the title. So there's always a ball-playing midfielder there who's always central. So wondering who's going to be that player for us.
You're right. Josh says Dele.
Dele, could be Dele.
Eriksen.
Eriksen?
Nah, Eriksen's done out here.
Why if you could reinvigorate Toby and Jan, why not Eriksen?
Because I think Jose has a magic touch with the defenders. I don't know about the forward players so much.
Well, you never. Why he had Drogba, he had
just how Eric Alderweireld was reacting in his interview yesterday. I don't know. I just got that feeling that he's happy and he might actually sign.
We'll
I've
see.
got a bit of a feeling about him. Eriksen, I think, is a lost cause, to be honest.
There's reports from BT Denmark saying that Eriksen has now decided to leave in January as opposed to running down his contract.
Who's that?
BT Denmark.
Who's that?
It's a BT,
Okay.
Denmark. Apparently, that's what they've said. But hopefully, he can get Lo Celso playing and him in Delhi.
All right. Well, let's run through these questions from Instagram. First one from Kyriakou Sophokeleos.
You don't make it easy for us, do you?
Opinions. Is this a step down or a step up?
I think you have to say that Mourinho is a better manager than Poch.
I mean,
If you asked me 2 days ago, I would have said Mourinho is a better manager, but I wouldn't have swapped them. I wouldn't have swapped them. But you have to say he is a better manager. There's no doubt about it. Look at his pedigree, the trophies he's won, what he's done in the game. Poch doesn't touch it at the moment. Maybe one day he will, but you can't say Poch is better than him.
Comment section below. Is this a step up or a step down? And we'll see what the fans have to say.
I think just about. I think at the moment it's a step up.
Step up. I mean, in terms of pedigree and trophies and that kind of stuff, there's no argument, is there?
There's
Because
no
Poch has
argument.
never won anything. But in terms of style of play, obviously you want to see Poch there because Mourinho's style of play is not the Tottenham way.
You're right, but he's always defended his record in terms of how he plays the game.
To let Dylan again, sorry guys.
Oh, where is he? We should get him on the live stream. All right, Dylan. In terms of style of play, he's always defended his record in the sense that the Madrid side that won the league had like a record amount of goals and a record amount of points.
Arsenal must get Poch.
The Chelsea side that won the league got a record points and I think record amount of goals. He's always had a bad reputation because a lot of the time he's always grinds out those 1-0 results. He's always had a stern defence. And I think his reputation is probably warranted, but I think it's unfair to say that he can play. He can never play attacking football because it's not true. I don't think. I think even if you look back at that Champions League when he won the Champions League with Inter, that game against Barcelona when they beat Barcelona 3-1 at San Siro, that wasn't because of the great defensive play. That was a great attacking performance from them, and he got them playing. He got a good tune out of those attacking players.
George Robbo says, will we win a trophy this year?
This season or this year? Because the League Cup next.
It says this season.
Yes.
FA Cup?
We're going to win the FA Cup this season. Yes, we will.
Will we get top 4?
Will we get top 4? No. I think we'll just miss out. I think Leicester and Chelsea. Well, I think Leicester and Chelsea. The gap is too much now. It's 12 points, 11 points. I can't see us bridging that unless we really have a mental run. Unless he really gets the players going.
Who do you think he names as captain?
Ooh, I think he keeps it.
Lloris
and Kane.
What do you think? Lloris keeps it, or do you reckon he'll pass it on to Kane?
I think who was John Terry was captain, wasn't he, at Chelsea back in the day? And he made Ashley Young captain, did he? At United?
Potentially. He seems to keep like the older heads as captain. Maybe he even...
I don't think he'll shake things up. I don't think he's going to swap around the captain. So I think there you go. I think keep it the same.
All right. And what's the next question? Will we win the league under Jose?
Will we win the league under Jose?
It's funny, actually, that question, because I was speaking to Louis Beneventi from 100% Chelsea today. He called me up to speak about the whole Mourinho thing. The Chelsea fans are a bit in disarray because they don't really know what to think about it all.
Yeah, they're probably, because for them,
He's a Chelsea legend.
Yeah, but it is like, for example, if Poch joined Arsenal now, it's pretty similar kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe if Poch joined Arsenal in like 2 years or something.
But it's quite similar in terms of how high esteem they hold him, and then him joining a direct rival, one of their greatest rivals. Obviously, for us, it's great. If I was a Chelsea fan, I would be a bit disappointed that because I think he once said he would never manage Tottenham because of his links to Chelsea.
Yeah.
But
he said that in 2007.
He said that in 2007.
Yeah.
So you probably feel a bit disappointed. It'll be interesting to see what kind of reception he gets up at Chelsea. But I don't know. He's such a legend.
They hate us so much. I
know, but he won their first league for 50 years. Like he put them on the map.
Think about it like this: when George Graham joined Tottenham, George Graham was a successful manager for Arsenal, won the league, won cups. He got booed at Highbury.
Got booed at Highbury.
But it doesn't take much for Arsenal to start booing people anyway. So we know that with Granit Xhaka and Emmanuel are booing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it will be very, very interesting to see what kind of reception he gets. But you know what's going to be great? Mourinho's right. Your fans are shy. Mourinho's right.
We
Your
sing that
fans are
anyway,
shy.
but-
Yeah, but it's going to be great. Chelsea back. We to go to the bridge singing that. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
What I love the most about Mourinho is the way he hates Arsenal.
Yes, I love that. He always has arguments with Wenger. The biggest arguments he has was with Wenger, and he always chats shit about Arsenal. It's amazing. I love it. He always gives the biggest shithousery to Arsenal.
I saw a montage today of just all the moments where he was talking about Arsenal, and it was such a great watch.
Literally, we should just watch that. Like, if anyone's disillusioned about Mourinho, just watch that video, and then you'll be put on side. No one can be against that. And I think when the Derby day comes, he knows more than most how much these Derby days mean.
100%.
And I think he's going to be well up for them. He's going to get the team well up for it. And I can't wait to have a North London derby with Mourinho in charge. It's going to be exciting stuff.
And let's finish off on the on his interview today. You saw it?
Yeah, I
I
did
thought
see
it
it.
was really interesting the way he was talking about bringing youth in from the academy. The reason I think he was talking about youth from the academy is probably because Levy has told him he's got no money.
Yeah, which is what has been speculated.
Yeah.
That's what people are saying. Yeah, it's interesting. He said he's been criticised a lot for not bringing in youth for his previous clubs.
But really, who do we have? Tanganga and Parrott?
Tanganga and Parrott and Skip.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. But what he said, maybe he's probably just saying it for the cameras. But what he said was, at previous clubs, the reason why maybe he said, first of all, he said every manager loves to bring in young players. Every manager's goal, one of their main goals, is to bring in players from the youth academy and get them integrated in the squad. He said, however, at his previous clubs, sometimes the youth just hasn't been up to standard. Sometimes there's just no. There hasn't been a stage to put them on because they're not good enough. And he said he's looked into the youth at Tottenham and that he thinks it's different here. But I mean, look, we have to wait and see because actions speak louder than words, don't they? So we have to wait and see what he does. But personally, I'd love him to bring through the youth, but as long as he's getting results and getting trophies in the cabinet, I think it's time for Spurs to be achieving those kind of goals.
It's just a complete change in mentality at Tottenham. Complete change.
I think it was a big club move, to be honest. What we did, it was a move. It was a move that many top 6 teams would do.
And if you're talking about Daniel Levy, who's had his critics over the years, and they talk about, he only cares about money. He doesn't care about bringing in silverware. You don't bring in Mourinho if you only care about money and not bringing in silverware.
And you don't pay out 12. It could have been very easy for him to stuck with Pochettino, and not spend the money it took to sack him, which has proven to be that he did spend that money to sack him.
So why don't he just spend that money on the Dybala image rights?
Yeah, great question. But
maybe he'll saving it for the rainy day fund,
Yeah.
Pochettino fund.
But I mean, it's so Levy could have just kind of stagnated and waited for something to happen, but he was proactive about it. Not that I 100% agree, but at least he's taken a decision. It was a bold decision, and I respect him. I do respect him for making that decision because I think once it got to a stage where the playing staff and the team weren't playing for the manager, and someone like and it was available for someone like, with the caliber of Jose Mourinho to bring him in. He's now paying him the second highest paid manager in the world, I believe. To do that doesn't tell me that he doesn't want to be successful and win things. So that's a positive step. Whether he matched it with his actions and maybe in the transfer market or how he backs Mourinho, we'll have to wait and see. Apparently, Mourinho, to quote the Telegraph, has come into this job with his eyes open. So he knows the situation. So whatever the situation is, apparently Mourinho is aware of it. So
are we lovers?
We do love each other, but in a brotherly way.
Keep the mojo rising says, who is the first player that's going to be sold?
Eriksen, I would say.
Yeah,
Eriksen, I would say. Who do you think, what player is going to benefit most, in your opinion, from Mourinho coming in?
Any defender.
What defender do you reckon? A lot of people saying Dyer.
Could be Dyer. Very possibly Dyer.
Because Mourinho wanted him at United.
That's a good shout. Dyer. Could be 1/4 as well. 1/4.
Would you two want? Sorry, would you two want Luis Campos from CNM, who's that sporting director from Lille,
100%.
who apparently he's been credited with Fabinho, with Bernardo Silva.
What's happening with the
Lamar.
Poch merge? You can still buy it. We love Poch. We're not taking down the Poch
buy
merge.
the Poch merge. We still love him. But we'll get Mourinho. We'll get some Mourinho out one soon. So this guy Lucas Campos has been credited with Nicolas Pepe as well, or maybe. Not sure he should have that on his CV just yet. But he's credited with a lot of that Monaco side that had a lot of those
Martial, Bruno Fernandes, and who was the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head.
A lot of them. Benjamin Mendy maybe. But I think he'll be a great point. Apparently he's good friends with Mourinho, and
he's discounted Poch merch. No, it's going up in price now.
No, he's left. Now apparently he's friends with Mourinho, and he's also very good friends with our new assistant manager. His name slips my mind at the moment. But so I'll take him for sure.
And going back to what Louis said, was talking about Mourinho. He actually said to me he thinks Tottenham are going to win the league under Mourinho. He thinks
we should get Louis on the channel to talk about it.
He's coming in on Friday.
Oh, there you go. Would you everyone want to see Louis on the channel? Louis Beneventi from 100% Chelsea. Give his thoughts on Mourinho being Chelsea manager.
He was telling me he thinks Mourinho can replicate Chelsea 04.
Why? Why is he so confident? Because he's seen it go wrong twice under Mourinho. So why is he so confident that Spurs?
You'll find out on Friday.
I guess. I'm interested to know. I'm interested to know why he's so confident.
Fat Louis. Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Yeah. But look, there's a lot. Who do you think will suffer most from Mourinho's appointment?
Son.
You think Son?
Could be Son.
Why Son?
That's what Louis was telling me, that he reckons Son will have the shackles on him.
But under Mourinho, wingers haven't tend to do that badly.
That's what I said to him. He had Robben, Duff, Joe Cole.
Ronaldo was on the wing for him. He had Di Maria was fantastic for Mourinho. He actually played Di Maria in that. No, he played him on the wing. He played him on the wing.
Does Wanyama have a chance now? Wanyama's done as a footballer.
Wanyama, unfortunately, I'd love him to have. If Wanyama had a chance, he would have been back in the squad by now. It's not like we haven't needed him. So I think that shows that.
I think one that could suffer is Troy Parrott.
Troy Parrott is a youngster.
Could suffer.
Lucas Moura, I feel actually could be one.
Lucas Moura.
I'm worried for him. I'm not so worried for Salah. I think someone will be alright, but I think someone like Moura could suffer because I think Mourinho likes his wingers to run in behind, and Mourinho and Moura's not that much. I'm not a fan of that.
All right. So where are we going to finish this season?
My prediction is we're going to finish fifth.
Fifth. How many points off the top four?
I think we'll give it. I think maybe we'll cut the deficit, but I think we'll miss out by about three points, 3 or 4 points. I reckon we might get back into the race, but we'll see. Look, to be fair, it is still early days. It is only 12 games in. If we do go on a big run, you never know what can happen. If from now to maybe we could reassess in January. After at the midway point, see where we're at, see how many points we are behind it. Maybe if Chelsea and Leicester are catchable, maybe. But I think what's going to be more interesting is how we fare in the Champions League and how we fare in the FA Cup. I think that he's got to focus on those two competitions, and I think he's won the Champions League twice. He's got pedigree in those competitions. He knows how to play in them. He's very tactical. He knows how to play away from home and how to play at home. Although it didn't work out for Man United, hopefully at Spurs this can be a better fit for him.
You know what? If working out means winning 2 trophies and finishing second in the league, I'll take it.
Exactly. Well, that's failing actually for Mourinho. So I think it's an exciting appointment. Gutted as always, as we said, Pochettino's left, but you have to, when someone of the caliber of Mourinho comes in, even though he didn't, the last job didn't go as he had wanted, I think he's got something to prove, and I think it's an exciting appointment. I think all the directions, I don't know, my head tells me, everything my head is telling me is that it's going to be an absolute failure because of just how Levy is, how Mourinho is, how the past has been.
It's a match made in hell.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work, but but another part is telling me, then why is this even happening? You know what I mean? Why is he not going for Eddie Howe or something? Why has Mourinho agreed to join when he knows the situation? Why is Levy gone for a manager who he knows likes to spend money?
As you said, I genuinely think it's a big club move, and that's why Levy's done it. And time will tell if it's a successful one, if it's the right one. But at the moment, what I'm feeling like it is the right move.
The reason why my heart is telling me it's going to be is so excited is just that little kid inside of me is like, it's Mourinho. We've got Jose Mourinho, one of the best managers to manage in football. Is now manager of my club. Is the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. I could only have dreamt about that when I was a kid a few years ago when we were a mid-table team. Imagine like someone like Mourinho even considering managing Tottenham. You know, like it was just that's so beyond how I thought of our club back then.
Do you remember
and now it's a reality.
Do you remember what we thought of Mourinho that day that we beat Chelsea at White Hart Lane when Lennon and Dawson scored?
Yeah.
That guy was like a god.
He was a god. Everything he touched turned to gold back then. It was winning titles here, there, and everywhere. And he had just the Midas touch. And maybe he's proven since then that he is human. But I think what he has still proven is that he's still a top class coach, and I can't wait to see him get his teeth stuck into this job, see him at his best. I really believe this could reinvigorate him, because I think that Man United job, there are big problems at that club, and I think that job he was expected to go in there and win the league and challenge for titles, and I think the expectations didn't match the where the club was at and where the playing staff was at, and I think this kind of job where he's almost kind of an underdog compared to the rest of the top six. He'll kind of be us against the world again, and I think that's where he thrives. I think that's where he's at his best for that kind of club
as well,
and that's where we thrive. And I think he could really get something out of this team. That's why I'm excited about it. I'm just disappointed Poch didn't get to finish his vision and see it out. But as I said on the radio today on 5 Live, Poch taught us to dare. Mourinho will teach us to do.
That's a nice
there
one.
You go.
That's a nice one. So Matic and
Zlatan. Matic in, yeah.
Matic and Zlatan in January.
Yeah, I can't wait. To be honest, I'd take Zlatan. I'd love Zlatan at Tottenham. I'm not even lying.
For Kane?
Not a replacement. No, I wouldn't love that. But I would love Zlatan to oh, hello.
Oh, thank you very much.
Highlands. Thank you very much. Yeah, very unexpected. Tottenham seem to be an LGBTQ team now. By Peaceful Warrior.
Any thoughts on this Bale rumour coming back again?
That was from Wales Live, wasn't it? The news network in Wales. They said that Mourinho has identified Bale as his first signing at Tottenham.
Well, it's a strange signing if you've got no money to spend.
Well, he nearly went on a free to China.
Well, he ain't coming on a free to us.
No, he ain't coming on a free to us. Well, we ain't paying his wages. It's again another one I can't see happening. But just because the wages situation,
he'll need to take a 400 grand wage cut.
I can see Madrid, the situation they're in now. He's not getting any game time at the moment, is he?
He's playing bits and pieces.
He's not. Is he?
Yeah.
Because they dropped him, didn't they?
Yeah, maybe in the last few weeks he hasn't played. He's played before that.
The kosher one. That's who Mourinho is. He's the kosher one.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate that. What was I saying?
Bale.
I don't think it'll happen. I'd love it to happen. I kind of feel like Bale might have passed, but anyway, I don't know.
The kosher one.
We're Jewish. It's not anti-Semitic. It's allowed. All right.
We're all Yids anyway.
We're all Yids.
But anyway, we move on. We got West Ham this weekend at the Olympic Stadium.
I think it gives us a bit more excitement going into that game, because I was dreading this game, to be honest.
I was speaking to Uncle Jace before the Mourinho thing, and I was messaging him saying, "Oh, you're going to batter us," and he was like, "No, you're going to batter us." And now Mourinho's come in. He just messaged me straight away. It was like, "You're going to win."
I think we. Oh, hello.
And we're back.
We are back. Sorry about that. My battery did die, but we are back live here. But we were just about to end the stream anyway, so might as well do that now.
All right, so we move on to West Ham at the Olympic Stadium this weekend. Jose Mourinho's first game as Tottenham manager. Check out all the content revolving that game. Just before the game, we're going to have a predicted lineup, and we're going to have a match preview, as well as a match day vlog and all the player ratings and all that stuff after the game.
It's a shame for Mourinho's first match in charge to actually see him. I'm going to need binoculars. But anyway.
Exactly. So like, subscribe, comment, and tell us what you thought of our live stream. Tell us if you want us to do more live streams. And as always,
come on, you Spurs. Welcome, Jose.
Bye, Poch.